Why would I want to slow my yoga practice down? Why would I want to rest? Let's talk about restorative yoga, its benefits, and how you can start practicing tonight. Hey friends, and welcome back to Honeybee Yoga Studio. My name's Lindsay, and I'm really excited to talk about restorative yoga. I practiced yoga for over 15 years before I even heard about restorative yoga. And when I did, during yoga teacher training, it honestly changed my life. I didn't actually think that I would become a yoga teacher after yoga teacher training, but once I learned about restorative yoga, I knew that I had to because I had to spread the word about restorative yoga. So today I'm going to chat about some of the really common questions about restorative yoga, just chat about what it is, how you can start practicing, and what you can use from around your house to start that practice. So what is restorative yoga? Well, if you think about your regular active yoga practice that involves a lot of movement, maybe some challenge, some strength, some balance, this is the complete opposite of that. It is as passive, as relaxed as you could possibly get. If there was a goal for restorative yoga, it would be to lower this heightened sense of mental and physical stress that 2020 in particular has provided us. BKS Iyengar was the creator of restorative yoga when he started to incorporate props and supports into his teachings as he aged and as he worked with an aging population and a population with injuries. He realized that these props and supports would make yoga accessible to everyone. A couple decades ago, Judith Hansen Lassiter brought this practice to the Western world. Thank you, Judith. And in doing so, she enhanced the experience by holding on to these postures for an extended period of time and adding in a breath connection piece. My teacher that I learned restorative yoga from was taught by Judith herself, so my type of restorative yoga that I teach and I enjoy to practice is very traditional. So why should I practice restorative yoga? Well, first and foremost, the benefits of restorative yoga, much like meditation and rest, are scientifically proven. When your body is given the safe space to allow it to relax, let its defenses down, what you do is you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system. And the metaphor I like to use when describing a parasympathetic nervous system is if you imagine a little crew of construction workers that live inside your body, but those construction workers can only come out and work on your body when all of your defenses are down, when there's nothing stopping them from doing all of that repair work. So restorative yoga, by creating this really safe and cozy environment, by supporting your body in all of these postures, you're creating this space where all of these little construction workers can come out and help your body heal itself and naturally. You would be amazed at what your body can heal from when you give it the space and the time to do it. Restorative yoga has been proven to lower blood pressure, to help immune systems become more strengthened, and to lower stress hormones dramatically. We live in a world, especially in 2020, where our phones are going off 24 hours a day, our bodies are constantly on edge, and we're just waiting for the next stressful situation to happen. We need to create a healthy atmosphere for our bodies to rest and heal, and that's exactly what restorative yoga does. I believe that everyone should practice restorative yoga, not just yogis, but people maybe who have anxiety or depression. If you find you've got restless leg syndrome or your mind's scattered and you can't focus and you just feel tight and wound and on edge, restorative yoga is for you. So what does restorative yoga look like? What should I expect if I go to a restorative yoga class? Well, just like every type of yoga, it's going to depend on the teacher, on the class description, on the studio, on the time of day that you practice. So I would recommend trying out a few different types and seeing what speaks best to you. As I mentioned, I'm a very traditional restorative yoga teacher, so my classes would look kind of like 60 to 75 minutes. We would hold 4 or 5 postures in that time. So that's not a lot of postures in a lot of time, so there's a lot of stillness. Other teachers may incorporate restorative yoga practices within their class, such as starting off or finishing your practice in a restorative pose. Overall, restorative yoga has a few key elements that must be present to be able to benefit from restorative yoga. The first is supports. You must have props and supports to support your body in these postures. This can include studio equipment like bolsters, blocks, and straps, or if you're at home, you can use pillows, cushions, towels, and blankets. Your body should be warm, it should be still, and it should be in a really comfortable environment. This will allow your mind as well as your muscles to be relaxed and released. You must also be in a really supported environment that's free of stimuli. Now, what is stimuli? This can be lights, it can be sounds, it can be touch, it can be smells. So traditionally in my class, I might include essential oils or music, and this is more to help students come into a place of relaxation and a place of ease, because sometimes if you're new to the practice, you might find complete stillness and complete silence a little intimidating. Restorative yoga sounds great, but how do I start practicing? Well, you've taken the first step by watching this video, and I would love to have you as a subscriber because I will be making restorative yoga practice videos to have a home practice to help with beginners and to show the breakdown of my favorite restorative yoga postures. My big suggestion, and I've already mentioned it, is to use props from around the house. In your practice, pull together some pillows, some cushions, maybe a couple blankets, and I would suggest adding a restorative yoga posture to the end of your practice. Hang out in that posture for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and try a few different ones at the end of your practice. Once you start to feel those different postures, feel your body in those shapes, maybe you can start to do more than one posture. Maybe you can have half an active flow, half a restorative practice. It's all about finding what's right for you and balancing it either with an existing practice or starting something new. A couple tips for starting at home. The first would be to set a timer. If you haven't practiced restorative yoga before, you will probably be surprised at how slow or how fast 5 minutes to 10 minutes in a posture can go. If you have a timer going, it's one less thing for you to think and stress about. If you're not a natural relaxer, which who is, honestly, I would definitely recommend using some of those non-traditional restorative yoga elements to help make your restorative yoga practice different than either your existing yoga practice or to make it feel different than your regular day-to-day life, so that transitioning into this space of stillness and peace and quiet isn't so intimidating, because it can be intimidating. If you have a favorite essential oil, maybe you can keep that close by. Maybe you turn the lights down, maybe you light a candle, maybe you play really soft and gentle music, whatever you need to do so that you feel great and comfortable in your practice. And remember, just because you're starting a practice and maybe using some of these stimuli or non-traditional supports, it doesn't mean you always have to have them. Using them to support your practice where you are is what's most important. I also want to point out that especially if you are starting at home, some of these non-traditional elements can be really helpful because you might have competing stimuli in your house already, like children watching TV, maybe gentle music drowning out that noise is more important. The 3 restorative yoga postures I would start to incorporate into my practice first would be a supported child's posture. You can see here I have lots of lift underneath my belly, my torso. Second would be a Stonehenge Shavasana, where I am elevating my shins, my knees, my low spine is supported by the earth beneath me. And finally would be a heart opening posture, a support beneath my heart, beneath my chest, opening my chest, and maybe an eye pillow over my eyes. So how can you learn more about restorative yoga? Well, as I mentioned before, a little shameless self-promotion, subscribe to my channel and I will be talking a lot about restorative yoga. Ask me down in the comment section, send me an email. You can also read some books. I have with me 3 of my favorite restorative yoga books. The first one is Relax and Renew by Miss Lassiter herself. The second is The Breathing Book by Donna Fari, and this one isn't so much about restorative yoga as it is connecting with your breath, which is a huge part of restorative yoga. And lastly, if you really want to see all of the different postures, all of the different shapes, different sequences, the Yoga Journal Presents Restorative Yoga for Life is a Bible. It is fantastic. It's really helpful. Lastly, yoga teacher training obviously was where I received the majority of my restorative yoga knowledge. I participated in other yoga teacher trainings by other restorative yoga teachers in the area and benefited from those as well. If you have specific questions about yoga teacher training or restorative yoga teacher training, please send me an email, lindsay@honeybeeyogastudio.ca, and I'll try my best to help you out. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you learned a little bit about restorative yoga. I hope that you are going to try it out, maybe even tonight, and I look forward to our next talk together. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you, and if you aren't already, please subscribe. See you guys next time.